Hi, this is Mandy back with another video. This is probably a part two, actually, from the last one that I just did. As I'm just pondering this in between shoots here, I thought, this is probably a good time to just keep talking a little bit more about what I started to in the last executive functioning explanation, or the intro to executive functioning explanation. And that's about the example of an attention error in the cognitive processes with the kids diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. So let me just quickly refresh that the process, and then I'm going to talk about when an error happens and what can happen. Again, this is an example. This one cannot be applied to everybody because everybody's different. Like I say all the time, one person with autism, one person. Okay, so what I was talking about was an attention component to our cognition. So if there's two people having a conversation, right? This person is chatting, and saying a whole bunch of things on their mind. What the other person, the receiver, is actually doing, right, is if they're paying attention and want to be engaged in this conversation, that's step one, right? I didn't say that last time. If they want to be engaged in this conversation, they're listening to the words, they're taking in the words, they're assessing the words, they're making some meaning of the words, encoding, embedding. These are all these cognitive psychology types of terms, which I'm going to use practical terms so you understand this. They're taking in the information, they're making meaning of it, they're putting in their own experience in their mind with whatever this person's talking about, and then they're formulating a response. They're also, I left this one out of the last example, but this is a nonverbal social cue. They're also waiting for a break. This is the inhibition piece. This is one of those executive functioning pieces. They're waiting for the opportunity to respond to this person. Right? How often do we do that? We're waiting for the break in the conversation. Some people keep going and going and going and going. It's really hard to get a break like me. It's really hard to interrupt me. Other people can just stop and say, what do you think? There's a prompt for it's time to respond. And other people, you just have to, read the body language and watch them when they take a breath, maybe. Okay, so then this person formulates a response, and then they have to articulate the response back. And depending on the quality of the interaction desired by this person, with this person, they might put a little bit more attention and thought into the formulated response. And this is what we learn a lot in our profession how to do with clients. This isn't common knowledge necessarily. Some people are naturally better at this than other people, right? We all have our strengths and we all have our things that we need to work on. So with that example of attention, let me talk and move on to another piece. Let me start with one other piece of attention that I know that you parents out there of kids with autism spectrum disorders are going to say, yes, that my kid does this all the time. The other piece, one of the pieces of the information that falls under the attention umbrella is saliency, right? And so what is that? That means picking out the parts of a task or whatever that are the most important. What stands out? What should I know when I read these two sentences? How do I take that information and then do something else with it? I'm going to pause right there because this is where higher education gets tricky with these kids who are going to college, who are getting good grades in high school, when material becomes complicated. This is one concrete example of why I think the term high functioning autism does a disservice to this community, because they're very good at so many other things. They look like they have so many skills, but this task saliency part is such an advanced skill, and so many people with so many skills with this diagnosis struggle with that. And that is so important in life, that you have to have a good ability to be able to tease out information and determine what is important. So let me pause there for this video, and I'm going to make a next video immediately after, I think. Well, this was really inspiring today about errors and where a common error might happen. And I'm going to reference the attention example again so that we have sort of a foundation of something to go back to and tie it all together. Because when we do work really well with this population, with understanding how they think and what their path is, we can really help in treatment, and you all at home can help them is to the best of your ability. So next video, I'm going to move on with attention errors and how they can affect an individual who's diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder at any age. Thanks for watching.